and it's going to be any form of football. It could be anything. It could be junior high, but it's football, and this is an exciting time of the year.
Yeah.
So
if somebody says, "Hey, how you doing?" say good and move on with your day. Welcome back, everyone, to the A.D.D. show, where we're not always right, but we're never wrong. As always, I'm Mark.
And I'm Hans, and welcome back, everybody. We have a really fun episode today. We're going to go over some more fantasy stuff, talk a little football, because we are literally, when you hear this, we would have had the Hall of Fame game played. NBA free agency just started. A couple big names on the move. A couple people getting together to create a very old but relevant team in LA. And just, other rambling on. So how you doing tonight, Mark?
I'm doing all right. Bulls are spending way too much money on talent that's not going to win a title.
I'm not disagreeing with that at all. There's a bug in here.
They definitely spent too much money on Lonzo. DeRozan's a okay player, not a franchise player. I don't understand the moves that they're making. Curry signed a max deal. Butler signed a max deal with the Heat.
Didn't Lowry join him in the Heat? That's a good deal.
It's join him in the Heat. And then, obviously Westbrook going to L.A. You got Melo going to L.A. And I don't see that L.A. thing working at all. I think the Lakers are desperate, and they're just bringing in names to bring in names. I don't think it's going to work. And I'm a Lakers fan. I don't think that's going to work at all. It's I don't know what's going on. But people are getting paid ridiculous amounts of money. Trae Young just signed an extension. So he's locked up in Atlanta. The Knicks didn't spend nearly as much money as people thought they were going to do in the beginning. But I think their chips are lying where they're going to try and get Lillard.
Well, they had a solid draft. They had 4 players in the second round they used their picks on, so they took a lot of just depth players.
Yeah, but they're far away. They have
Hunter,
more.
Right? R.J. Hunter, is that his name?
R.J. Barrett.
Barrett, that's it.
And
if you
Barrett,
can get another superstar, and they signed somebody. I don't know who they signed. A bigger name in free agency just a few hours ago. I can't remember who it was. I say bigger name, but I can't remember.
I don't think I'm looking at it now, and it doesn't show anything.
No, okay. And I must be thinking of someone else.
So, but NBA free agency, it is what it is. We'll see what happens.
Yep.
Like I said, Lakers got old.
Yeah, very fast.
You have 2 ball-dominant players on your team and no shooters. It's just not going to work. It's not going to work. LeBron's a ball-dominant player. Obviously Westbrook's a ball-dominant player.
I think they're both ball-dominant players, but I would argue, being that I actually watched him for the first time with the Wizards a little bit, I would say he can shoot from just about anywhere on the floor. I would consider him a shooter, but if you have the ball in your hand 24/7, he's not Steph Curry. He can't do that.
This was the first season he was over 30% from three-point range. He's an awful shooter.
Well,
he's
just
just a volume shooter.
Yeah.
He's not a good shooter. He's a volume shooter.
He can get you the points when he needs, but still, it's you brought in 2 players that have constantly in their careers never done anything besides win. Well, one of them regular season awards, and the other one really hasn't done anything.
Yeah.
So we'll see if it works. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued to watch it, put it that way. If it works, it could be an absolute unit. If it doesn't work, it's going to be trouble in paradise, and they're going to be arguing with the whole LeBron J.R. Smith hands thing. They're just going to be arguing with each other.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work.
But then Chris Paul re-signed 4-year deal with the Suns.
Yeah, I saw that.
He should spend all offseason getting in shape. That man ran out of gas. He had nothing left to make a finals run. And
did I read it wrong that he's 40 years old?
No, he's not.
Okay,
40.
I didn't think so.
He's probably gonna. No, he's younger than LeBron.
Okay, I read it wrong. I didn't think he was 40. I'm just making sure because I saw a 4-year deal and I thought maybe it said $40 million, something like that.
Yeah, it's like 4 years, $120-something million a year, $120 million. So it's something
maybe I read it wrong.
Like that.
I was like, I didn't think he was that old, but damn, why would anybody sign a player to that kind of money that old?
But it's Steph. That's a lot of money for Steph.
Yeah.
I know he's the franchise, but 4 years, $215 million. Are you serious? That's a lot of money to tie up with one player, and you're already hamstrung with money.
Yeah.
Again, it's one of those things where you got to get that run in now.
Play
is hopefully healthy.
This is a league where it's becoming a quick. You have 2-year windows. Does that make sense? They sign somebody, they bring in a couple old dudes, and they try to make a run. Does that make sense? Lakers try to make a quick run. By paying Steph Curry, it feels like you're doing this quick little 2-year, 3 thing. Again, you know what I mean? Where the teams aren't building for 10, 15-year years. They're not, that's not the way it works anymore with the money the way it is in these sports.
Yeah.
You can't build dynasties like that anymore.
No, and it's, the Bucks prove that you don't need superstars to win. You just need one superstar. Mm-hmm. They proved it, and these teams are just signing names to sign names, and it's like the Bulls. Like, what are you really trying to do? Like, you're just signing names. I don't get it. So I just, it's frustrating. It's, that's my NBA take.
The NBA in general has been frustrating the last few years anyways, so.
But my dog's going nuts. But yeah, I don't like the NBA. I don't like it at all.
Oh, he's gonna go check on his dog. I was like, what are you getting up for? Yeah. Oh, he's just closing the door. I was like, you're gonna leave me here, guys?
It's a podcast. You don't know how to talk?
Well, I do, but you kind of put me on the spot there.
Come on. But basically to transition, because the NBA, the first day is usually the big names.
Yeah.
And then the important players are later that you don't even pay attention to, which is the players that win you championships, not just the superstars.
Yeah, exactly.
And so they're coming up. I think the Heat did well. I do. I think the Heat did well. I don't like what the Bulls did. 76ers, what are you going to do with Ben Simmons?
Can't shoot. It's a liability.
I don't think there's teams out there that want him.
I don't know anybody that does,
so
right?
you're gonna eat that, I think. And then you're looking at the Clippers. What is Kawhi going to do? Is he going to re-sign with the Clippers? If not, where's he going to go? That's a big deal there. But excuse me personally, I'm just into football. I am, itching to get fantasy football started. I'm itching to watch football. I hate preseason, so I won't watch preseason games. With the hot clock last week, that I really don't like practice either, because I don't care what a player does in practice. I don't care. Like I read, just this rookie's all over the field in practice.
Yeah.
Okay, they're not even wearing. They wore pads today. They haven't been wearing pads yet, and he can run. Okay, like
you talking about Micah Parsons?
It was Parsons. It was Parsons they were talking about, and then there was 2 other guys that they were talking about, and I'm like,
when I got the update on my phone, Micah Parsons has been all over the field, killing it on defense. The first thing I said was, I get updates for important sports stuff. I'm talking updates, like my phone goes bzz, bzz, ESPN. Why is Dallas's rookie linebacker with the 12th pick breaking news on my phone? Because he's all around the field. I don't care. I literally did not care. If you noticed, I saw it, and I never shared it in the group. Because in the Dallas fan, and I saw it, I was like,
practice.
Nobody cares.
It's just like they were saying, like, oh, Zeke's in shape this year. Nobody said he was out of shape last year.
Exactly.
Nobody said anything about him. Okay, now that he has a 6-pack, now he's in shape.
Yeah.
Having a 6-pack doesn't mean you can run.
Yeah.
Having a 6-pack doesn't mean you can break a tackle.
Yeah, I didn't care about what he looks like. I shared it because he lost a lot of weight. Right. But the only thing I care about is, are you going to perform this year?
Right.
That's all I care about.
I just look at, I just don't care. And they were talking about Jamin Davis. We brought him up last week. I never heard his name until Jay brought him up in the discussion on Facebook, and they talked about him on ESPN today, how he's a steal in the draft and he's all over the field, blah, blah, blah. He hasn't even hit anybody yet because he's not allowed to.
Yeah.
And it's like Bengals, and I'll even shit on the Bengals.
Unless you're the Panthers, you can.
Right, but like the Bengals, side note, that kid got cut.
I know he did.
But the Bengals, they're talking about how the defense has won every practice. What do you mean?
Yeah.
They haven't tackled a single person yet.
Yeah.
They haven't been blocked yet. Like,
my
how do
favorite-
you win practice? Oh, because you tip balls and you intercept balls? Like,
My favorite has been, I've seen like 8 highlights of CeeDee Lamb catching ridiculous OBJ catches in practice, and the person throwing it to him is the same third-string quarterback every time. He's completely missing the field. Oh, somebody fell out of the hat.
yeah.
So why don't you go ahead and let us know?
Yeah,
Everybody know what the hat's for
are-
again today.
We've been debating on whether or not we have 2 new members in a fantasy league that we're in. Wet Booty.
It would be Dylan and
Kyle.
Kyle, yes.
Yep. And so we decided, instead of doing a draft lottery based off of last year's results, we are going to do random draw out of a hat. The first name we pick out of the hat is the number 12 pick. And we're going to go all the way to number 1. So without further ado, we are going to pick these names out of a hat. So,
You just hand me the whole hat so I don't have to lean in every time.
okay.
Okay, so
Yep.
with the number 12 pick
Yes, the number 12 pick in the draft
is going to be Logan.
Logan. He is going to be pumped.
That's probably the pick he wanted too, isn't it?
Yeah, since he cheated in the LOEL lottery draft.
How did he cheat? Oh, yeah.
He had like one of the late picks, and he ended up getting like 3.
With the
You
11th...
can't look in the hat.
I can't see them. They're upside down.
All right, just saying.
Okay, I won't look this time. I can't see anything. With the 11th pick in the 2000... No, I'm just kidding.
Dylan. Poor kid. So, all right, number
Pick
10.
Matt.
Matt. All right.
This is getting worse. I was hoping my name would have been called already. I'm kind of hoping I'm like right here. This would be great.
Why? I want to be close to the top.
I guess you're right. Oh. Matt.
You already picked Matt.
Did you write Matt twice?
You did the names.
This isn't my handwriting, Mark.
Did I do Matt twice? All right, let's figure out what name we forgot.
And then write the name on this and we'll put it back in the hat because Matt's already been picked the first time.
All right, so pick another name if we're... No, wait, hold on.
Oh, my God.
Well, I don't know what names are in there. So whoever that is the 9th pick.
All
And
right.
we'll figure out who that is in a minute.
Whoever is on this, the second Matt is going to be now the 9th pick, okay? Just so everybody's clear.
Yes.
All right, so with the 8th pick. Come on,
I
Mark.
forgot you cut him. I wrote him, you cut him.
Chandler.
Chandler is number 8. Okay. So far, so good.
Brandon.
Brandon is number 7. For those that don't know, that's Brandon Cleveland. He's a Ravens fan.
Yep. Unfortunately, poor guy. Malik.
Malik is number 6. That's probably the pick that you would want.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
All right.
All right, pick number 5. Me, you, and Nate are still on the board.
So am I.
I said me, you, and Nate.
Oh, yeah.
You.
Nice.
Marky
number
Mark.
5.
With the 5th pick.
Nice.
All right, that's
You
that,
know who-
That's that Zeke pick right there.
Danny won the league, and he's still in there. Maybe. The second Matt might be Danny, so you never know.
We're going to find out here in a second.
So number 5.
Kyle.
Kyle, number 4.
Oh, God.
You know what? I don't even know if I wrote your name down. Your name might have been the second Matt.
Jesus. All right, what pick's next? Number 3.
Number 3.
The 3rd pick. Danny.
Danny gets number 3. Danny wins the league and gets a top 3 pick.
That's BS. Number 2. Me.
Christian is number 2. That means James or Nate is the number 1 pick or the number 9 pick. There's only one name left in there, right?
Yes.
Why are you shaking the hat?
Because I just want to. All right, with the number 1 pick. Nate Dogg.
Nate gets number 1. So I apologize, James. You are number 9.
Mark just didn't write you down.
No. So the order is Nate, Christian, Danny, Kyle, Mark, Malik. Jeez, it's hard. Brandon, Chan, James, Matt, Dylan, and Logan. So that is the draft order for Wet Booty. And we are probably going to redo the divisions also.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll probably just do those random just by ourselves.
Do it right now.
All right.
When you do the division, you think anybody in the groups can care if you do it out of the hat again?
No, we'll do it out of a hat again.
So
cares?
there's going to be two Dylans again.
There's going to be two Matts, but one Matt is James.
Do you want me to look for the one? Here, I got it right here.
All right. So we'll
James at the James. We'll do the divisions now. And this is the 4-keeper league too, right? So
yes. So having a top pick in a 4-team keeper league is huge.
So I don't have to keep a quarterback now.
Well, the thing is I'm keeping my quarterback still. I have Mahomes. But, you're going, number 12 pick is going to be tough.
Well, my situation, I have Justin Herbert in my league, right? I thought about keeping him, but I just acquired another tight end in a trade.
You need what rookie are you going to keep?
CeeDee Lamb.
Okay.
With the number, I won't pick again for another 20-something picks, but if I don't take a quarterback, keep one, I can keep the tight end and take quarterback at 2. There'll probably be still one there. So.
Okay.
All right, so divisional time. Do you want to do one of each other or just do 6 straight? We got to do every other. Because then we're going to know the other 6 immediately. We got to do one at a time.
All right, one at a time.
So, East and West, North and South?
Sure, East and West.
All right, East and West. So, the first team in the East Division, Logan. Hey, we got Logan again first.
East.
West. Danny.
All right.
Danny boy. Matt.
Matt is in the East?
Yep.
Okay.
In the West, James. Written in cursive. Just kidding. Made you look. In the East, Kyle.
Oops.
In the West, Nate Dogg.
Nate?
Yep. You can hear me shaking the whole table.
Yep.
The next, what is it? East?
East.
Dylan.
Dylan is in the East.
In the West, me.
Christian.
Hanze boy. In the East, Malik.
Malik is in the East.
In the West, Brandon.
Wow. So me and Chan are in 2 opposite divisions for the first time in a long time.
Which division would you like to be in, Mark? Because
I don't either one. They're very well spaced out. So I would probably either one is fine with me.
All right, Mark. Your name is the one I grabbed. You're in the East.
All right.
And that leaves Chandler in the West.
All right. So the East Division is Dylan, Kyle, Matt, Malik, Mark, and Logan. And the West is Danny, James, Brandon, Hans, Chan, and Nate.
Yeah, those are 2 very, very good divisions.
Yes.
I'm excited about that. I've been excited about this league ever since we created the Wet Booty League, the great random term that I came up with. It's been a wonderful league ever since.
Yeah, it's fun. It's hard. We individual defenses, everything. So
you will have to draft a defensive player for the 2 new people who may not have known that already. I'm sure they saw it, but you'd be surprised.
And we're probably going to try to turn it into a dynasty league after this year.
Yes.
So we'll keep an eye on that to see what we would have to do. But today, I know we did the rankings with Nate and Logan for fantasy football. We did our top 10s at the 4 major positions. But there's been some developments in the league. Aaron Rodgers has signed, which ups the value for Jones and Devontae Adams. Cam Akers gets hurt. You have other players that aren't practicing right now. And other players that look good. And so we decided to do top 10 quarterbacks and running backs. Our top 10s. So I will let you go first with quarterbacks. I would say if you want to just read off your top 10.
I think since we only doing this right now, I think I'm gonna take some time with it because I want to be able to go into a little detail of why I did mine a certain way.
Okay.
I'm gonna name my honorable mentions first, right outside the top 10 that I could have put there. My honorable mentions are Tom Brady and Joe Burrow. They're right there, and the reason I put them out is, because it's PPR, especially for Brady. He doesn't get any really points with his legs a whole lot, right? And the same thing with Burrow is Burrow could be in the top 10, but I think some of the quarterbacks ahead of him have more playing time, a little bit more consistent, and we know what they're bringing. He could prove us wrong with the number 1 quarterback. I could see that happening too. I just think right now I'll put them as my honorable mention. So in my number 10 spot, I have Jalen Hurts for fantasy.
Okay.
The reason I put him there, that's about where I see him finishing. Being dual threat like he is, I think he's going to get a lot of points with his legs.
Okay.
At number 9, I have Ryan Tannehill. I think that's maybe a tad late for him, but I also think in these 10 quarterbacks, if you can get one, you'd want to have one over other teams, right? So Ryan Tannehill, one of those quarterbacks, right? Where'd he come from? Miami. Terrible there. Gets to the right situation, and he has proven to people that he has been underrated most of his career.
Yep.
He's a great quarterback now. At number 8, I put Russell Wilson.
Okay.
I put him a lot farther down than most because, honestly, other than DK and Lockett, they really don't have a good offense. Their offensive line is bad at the moment. Their running backs are, again, a unified unit of like 3 different dudes. I know they have Carson, but he's never proved he's a top 10, 15 running back. So I put him there. At 7, I put Justin Herbert. I put him a little farther down because of number 6, Aaron Rodgers. I put Rodgers there. You made a funny face.
Yeah.
I put Aaron Rodgers there because all the quarterbacks I have in front of him are going to get more points with their legs than he will. I still think you have the potential to have Aaron Rodgers have 40 touchdowns, but in PPR and quarterback running leagues like this, I think it really helps to have quarterbacks that are dual threat. At 5, I put Lamar. I struggle between Lamar and Aaron here. That's because I just don't always see Lamar doing it again. I'm going to be honest. I just have this gut feeling. I don't want to be the one to say it that the cliff could happen, an injury could happen, something doesn't feel right with Lamar this year.
Well, he went from 1 to 11 last year, so you have him up 6 spots than what he finished last year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's not falling off a cliff. That's climbing the cliff again.
I didn't know I had him at 11. Did you have that written down?
No.
Oh, that's where he finished. He finished 11th. Yeah.
11th. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd see him in the top 10, but I put him here because I think he's going to be drafted here. This is where they're going to be drafted, PPR wise.
Oh, I just put the top 10 quarterbacks.
I just put where I would draft them. Oh, I was putting him in my order where I would draft them. I'm sorry, I thought that's what you meant. At 4, I put Kyler Murray. I think he could easily be the best quarterback in fantasy because he has a lot of weapons. But again, I've seen too many times Kyler Murray disappoint me. Disappear in big games, not show up in big games. And then number 3 on the list is also the other quarterback in the same situation. Could lead the league, but disappears in big games. That's Dak Prescott. But in fantasy, the ability to have a top offense like that only helps you in fantasy. I wouldn't put him here in rankings in the normal season, but in fantasy he's here. Okay. Then I put Josh Allen at 2 and Mahomes at 1.
Okay.
So that's my rankings of where I would draft the quarterbacks in fantasy if I had to pick my top 10, what I would want, pecking order 1 to 10. That's where I would draft them.
Okay.
So,
all right. Dak's way too high. I mean, I look at their offense and the Bengals' offense being about equal as far as talent-wise. And I have Dak in my top 5. But I'm interested to see if he can actually run, if he'll run again this year.
Yeah.
As much as he was. Burrow will get about 300 yards rushing, a couple touchdowns. I got him at number 10. I got Tannehill at 9. I got Lamar at 8. Lamar will get you 800 to 1,000 yards rushing, but I don't see him throwing for over 3,500 yards. Yeah. I say maybe 3,000. I just think the book is out on him.
Yeah.
And it's not good because he's not adjusting and that offense isn't adjusting.
Yep.
I got Herbert at 7 and Russell Wilson at 6. I got Herbert at 7 only because he put up really good numbers last year.
That's
and
where
I don't see 1,000. I don't see him throwing for 600, 700, 800 yards less. And even if he and then you're saying if he's not in the top 7, he's not throwing 30-plus touchdowns. I see him throwing 30-plus touchdowns.
I have him at 7, too, so that's about where I think he'll be.
Russell Wilson, just even without weapons, he just seems to be in the top 10. He runs a lot. Dak at 5, Murray at 4. I got Rodgers at 3, easy. Rodgers runs a lot more than what people give him credit for. He doesn't like to, but Rodgers is going to put up numbers this year. I think he's going to be another MVP season. Close to 5,000 yards, 40 touchdowns. That's the type of year I see from him this year. And then, obviously, Allen and Mahomes.
Yeah.
Mahomes is a different breed, and Allen, to be honest, Allen scares me a little.
Yeah.
To just give him the consensus number 2.
There's a lot of drafts I've done, and it has nothing against Rodgers, Lamar, Kyler, and Dak. There's a lot of opportunities I've been stuck with this pick that Mahomes just went before me in a mock draft, and I've thought about not taking Josh Allen. And the reason is not that he's not great, it's that what if the run game figures it out? things like that. Like,
Yeah.
I know he's been getting up and up and up, but eventually, like, is he going to go up again? Is he going to be where he was?
But even if he plateaus, he's still the second best quarterback. You know, so if he...
But I think you can make an argument for Rodgers there, for Kyler Murray there, for Lamar there in a way. I think all those quarterbacks you can make an argument for. But this is the thing. You get 8 to 9 quarterbacks that are great, then the drop-off is huge.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, and yards-wise, like, I see really good talent at 11, 12, 13, 14. You know, you're really pushing it at 13, 14, you know, but
you don't
11 and 12, like, Brady's right there.
I'd say Brady would be where I'd stop at starters.
I honestly, I'm probably eating too much orange Kool-Aid right now, but I really have high hopes for this offense. Maybe not the team, but the offense. Like, this offense just, the more and more I'm reading up on it, the more I love their offensive line coach that they just brought back, Frank Pollock. He is a beast as an offensive line coach, and I just see good things happening for this team as far as stats-wise. I see a lot of good players, a lot of good offense coming out of it, so that's why I do have Burrow at 10 ahead of Brady, because he's going to run more.
Yeah.
And he can run more.
Yeah.
Even with the knee injury, he is still going to run more. Not planned runs, but he's able to get out of the pocket where he won't lay down.
Well, that's what I meant with Dak, is I don't think Dak's going to do planned runs, and he really didn't have planned runs last year. Dallas doesn't run that many planned runs for Dallas. What they usually do is it's when the pocket breaks down, zone reads, stuff like that, but they don't do it often. So I think it'll be like a Burrow situation. Now, I could have put Burrow in Jalen Hurts' spot, and I wouldn't have been hurt doing that. But again...
Yeah, I don't see... I know he's going to run. I don't see who he's going to throw the ball to.
They'll figure it out. They figured it out when they had Fulgham and one other dude last year.
Yeah.
They still figured it out. I mean, he still had a good fantasy season last year.
Yeah. But
so that's why I put him there.
Yeah. I don't see it. I'm not a firm believer in him.
But again, with Burrow, I think if you do wait on quarterback, and for example, I'll be honest, I think if you wait and if you have the opportunity to take Mahomes and you are thinking, take Mahomes, Allen, Prescott, Murray, sure, go for that. But if you're in a situation you want to wait and you want to take in that round, let's say CeeDee Lamb, let's say T. Higgins, let's say you want to take guys like that, Curtis Samuel, then I would definitely suggest waiting and going after Tom Brady, going after Burrow, maybe even a Baker Mayfield, maybe even a Matthew Stafford. I still think if you load up on maybe not Baker Mayfield at times, but if you just think about those 12 to 15 guys, yes, in a 12-team league, you should have one of these guys on this list. You should. But if you wait, are you mad with
12-team league? One of them's not going to be two of them aren't going to be.
Why put honorable mentions with two names?
Yeah,
but I'm using the example like let's say you wait.
Hurst and Brady will probably be there, and or Stafford.
Yeah, let's say you wait on that.
I would say Stafford gets picked more than Hurst.
Probably for the name, but I think for people who want the 20 maybe passing touchdowns and 9 or 10 rushing touchdowns. That's a decent season. But I think if you skip and you see Rodgers may still be there, he probably won't be. But let's say Herbert, Wilson, Tannehill, Hurts, Brady, and Burrow, you can wait for those guys if you're stacking up on that spot. Let's say that's the spot where Waller is. That spot where Kelsey is. Not Kelsey, I'm sorry, Kittle. You take those players there instead of going after the top quarterbacks if you want to, knowing it is kind of a deeper class.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes in a 10-team league, you see Mahomes going 10 in the 5th round.
Yeah.
So you've already got all those players like that you just mentioned.
But we have 2 of our leagues are 12 teams now. So it's a little bit different. There is going to be, by the time the 5th round happens, that's 20 more picks that weren't there before.
Right. And so you're going to have more. So it's but running back wise, I'm interested to hear yours.
Yeah.
I struggled with this one a little bit.
Okay.
But I worked it out. So I actually forgot in my first list to put Henry on it. So that's why
it looked weird.
Yeah, that's why I struggled a little bit. But,
so I have a name on mine that's going to be on there later up that I'm probably going to get heat for, but that's fine because I'll explain why. But I'm going to start with my honorable mention, Jonathan Taylor. Okay. I didn't put him in my top 10. I think a lot of it has to do with the injury to their guard. Now the injury to Wentz.
Yeah.
Yes, they run the ball. When your quarterback's injured, that doesn't hurt the running back, but I'll tell you why it hurts here. Their coach mentioned the other day that they were going to run multiple trios of whoever is hot at the moment.
That's a that's
I know
coach
that
speak to
it could be that way.
to also up the ante on anybody that has a running back that gets hurt.
Yeah.
That wants to trade for Mack or Nyheim Hines
I understand,
or something like
but
that.
I will say that with that injury to the line, that line will take a few spots of a hit on that left side. That's a big loss. Mm-hmm. And put it this way, Jonathan Taylor's great, but there's other players around him that are good. And the reason I put him in my honorable mention is because every player I'm about to name ahead of him is the number one running back on the team with very little depth behind them, except for Nick Chubb, with obviously Hunt behind him. Everyone else is a solid one. Okay. So at 10, I put Joe Mixon.
Okay.
I think that's a decent spot for him. He puts up numbers. But again, he could put up more numbers, and I think this year he does it. And I think he's one of those running backs you wouldn't be mad as an RB1.
Yep.
This is a spot I struggled with the next person because I almost put Mixon here and Eckler at 10. But at 9, I have Eckler. Okay. The reason I put Eckler here is not where fantasy has him at like 6th. I don't think he should be drafted that high. I think this offense for the Chargers is still going to be pass heavy. Yes, he'll get catches out of the backfield, but he's not a very good, how do I word this? He's not a very good Zeke, Saquon, Jones. He's not a very good running through the tackles player. Okay. I haven't seen that out of him where you want him for second down. I just don't see that. Okay. I put Nick Chubb at 8.
Okay.
I know you saw your face. I put him a tad lower because he still has to share carries with somebody else who gets a lot of carries.
Okay.
So I see your face. At 7, I put Saquon. I think that's fair for him for literally missing the entire season last year. Mm-hmm. He's very talented. I have him in 2 leagues, so I don't have anything against him. Yes, people think I do because I'm a Dallas fan. He's just never healthy, so put it that way. At 6, I put Aaron Jones. I think that's a very safe place for him. At 5, I put Zeke. That is where I struggled the hardest, was between Jones and Zeke right there. Because I could, again, you're getting to the point now where Jones, Saquon, Zeke, Derrick Henry, you can't go wrong in any of these. Okay. I also want to go back to Saquon real quick. The reason I put him here is he may not play the first few weeks of the season still. He's not 100%. So if he is going to miss 4 to 5 weeks of your fantasy season, that is not somebody you want with your first 5 picks in the draft, by the way. 4, I put Derrick Henry. In PPR, he doesn't get a lot of catches. Dalvin Cook at 3, Kamara at 2, CMC at 1. I put Kamara at 2, and I was lower on him a few weeks ago when we did this, but I'm putting him higher the more I realize the quarterback position may be a question mark. He's going to get a lot of volume. They're going to run him through that offense like crazy. So that's my list. I think I put some players in there that I was, maybe a little bit bullish on, but that's my list. Go ahead, Mike.
Mixon, Eckler, 10-9.
Yep.
I don't have Taylor in here. I didn't put him in here because of the injury.
He's in my mention, so yeah.
Because of the injury to Wentz mainly. And they're like, well, the quarterback, rookie, brand new quarterback or a backup quarterback is going to hand the ball off a lot. But now you don't have to have only 5 people in the box. Now you can load the box up. You can do 7, 8, 9 people in the box, and you can really stop the run. Mm-hmm. That's why I just don't see that. I got Zeke and Barkley, 8 and 7. And I'm Zeke, until he proves he can hang on to the ball and actually has passion for the game. Like you saw it on his face last year and the year before. He could have cared less.
I would say I didn't see it as much the year before as last year, but I think last year has a lot to do with the whole team was beat up, and he got defeated, and that he can't do that. He can't be like that as a leader of the team when he's the only one healthy from your buddies. You're the only one there. You can't put your head down like that, and he quit. But I don't think he can do that.
Way too many fumbles. Yeah. Way too many fumbles. I put Barkley at 7, Jones at 6, Chubb at 5. Chubb gets 70% of the carries, and he's going to get just as many catches. Kareem Hunt does not steal as many carries as people think he does. He doesn't get that many.
He doesn't get that many carries. He gets a lot of catches. He gets a lot of PPR.
Chubb will get 5 catches, and Hunt will get 5 catches. Like, for a running back, that's a very good game.
I know.
In a PPR fantasy football. Chubb gets 70% of the carries, and he'll have 3 to 5 catches every game. I got Derrick Henry at 4. It doesn't matter if it's PPR or not. He is just until the wheels fall off.
Yeah,
he's a top running back in the league. Kamara at 3. People always forget that they have Murray to run the ball too, and he ran the ball a lot in the red zone. Taysom Hill stole a lot of his carries in the red zone, and if Taysom Hill is the quarterback, he's going to run the ball a lot. I understand that. Yes, Kamara's going to eat. Okay, I understand that. Like, he's going to have a good year, but he's not going to be better than the next 2. I got CMC at 2 and Cook at 1. That offense runs through Cook. I don't see Sam Darnold checking down as much as every other quarterback that's ever played for the Panthers with CMC. I just don't see Darnold checking down. Darnold is I'm going to get it there. I'm going to throw it to you. And my wide receivers are going to catch the ball.
Yeah.
I throw it to my wide receivers. That's why Le'Veon Bell didn't work there. That's why, a lot of the backs that were there didn't have a lot of catches. Sam Darnold does not like to check down. Now, he's never had somebody as the talent as CMC.
Yeah.
I think these two are 1A, 1B. And I don't even see Kamara close to those two. I see a big drop-off at 3. 3 to 4, 5. Now, if you don't have one of these 10 on your team, I feel you're struggling.
Yeah.
Because you really need a top back like this.
That's why I tell people
team.
with our list, our list, our top 10 had the exact same people in it, just in different orders, okay? Mm-hmm. If you have a top 10 pick in a 12-team league, there is no reason. I get Tyreek Hill would be there. I get Kelsey's there.
So if you had pick 9, 10, 11, or 12, okay, would you take Eckler or Mixon over Hill, Adams, Hopkins? You wouldn't. Because those guys aren't going to score as many points as those.
Let me ask you this. Is it a 10-team league or 12?
You said 12.
If it's 12, no.
If it's a 12-team league.
If it's 10, I'll take Mixon and hope one of the 2 wide receivers are there getting 2 picks.
Okay.
Does that make sense? But if it's a 12-team league, I'm taking Tyreek. I'm possibly taking Kelsey here.
There's 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I would take Kelsey, Hill, Diggs, and Adams over.
Kelsey, Diggs, and Adams. I could see that. I could see the argument for it, yes.
But
the running back
just hoping that they jump to you again in the next round, which they wouldn't. If you're picking at 6 and you take Kelsey and you pass on Jones, like my list here.
Yeah.
Jones, Barkley, Zeke, Eckler, and Mixon. By the time you pick again, I don't think either one of them are there.
No.
So you're
losing.
You're playing that Russian roulette game where if you pick, say, Jones at 6 and then you're picking again at 6, you're not getting Kelsey, Adams.
No.
So you really have to decide.
But there's
what
a chance
you want.
if it's a 10 or 12 team league that when it comes back around at Aaron Jones, when you pick again in a 12, you'll be picking 10 picks later. There's a chance that a McLaurin could be there, an Amari Cooper could be there.
Yes.
So that is the next level down. But I was in a league the other day. It was a mock draft, I know, and I picked pick 9 or 8. So I picked 15, I think it was, and Diggs was still there, which would probably not happen with most educated people, but he was there. And I was like, so I'm going to get Aaron Jones and Diggs? Are you serious? And I had the 8th pick. So there is the chance that happens, but I can tell you, if I can be, even with my list, I would say my top 6, that's just me, from Jones to Zeke to Henry, even Barkley probably, Cook, Kamara, CMC. I'd even make a case for Chubb and Mixon, honestly. I should have Mixon at 9. I would probably, in most leagues, take a running back in these spots over any other player because wide receiver is that deep. Okay. I'd be okay with T. Higgins, CeeDee Lamb, and Curtis Samuel as my wide receivers if I can get one of these running backs. Right. That's just me, to be honest.
All right.
I don't think you need McLaurin. I don't think you need Diggs. I don't think you need Hill. If you can get them, take them. But if you are sitting here in Jones, Barkley, Chubb, there's no reason you're not taking the top running back, knowing the next running back that's going to start for you is literally going to be Myles Gaskin. That's going to be the next running back in the 3rd, 4th round for Miami. So I'm the person where I don't like the no running back method. I will normally take one if there's one available. If we do have a 12-team league and I had the 12th pick, I probably would not be taking one because they're not going to be there.
Well, we'll never know.
I don't have the 12th pick now.
We don't know yet.
What do you mean?
And the A.D.D show.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Well, we did the other league, the Web Booty League. So that's only 10 teams, though, right?
But we are going to update the Wet Booty League. Those people listen to the show regularly. We will have it updated on the app.
Yep.
And we'll probably text you guys the order also. But other than that, I don't know how much time we have left.
We have about 22 minutes. We can stop early. We can keep going.
Where did you put... Because you have Herbert and you have Eckler in your top 10 in both running backs and quarterbacks.
Yep.
Where did you put Keenan Allen?
Well, I only did my list of 10, but if I had to do my wide receiver, I didn't do my wide receiver list. I know you did them, but you didn't tell me to, so I didn't. If I had to put Keenan Allen, I'd probably put Keenan Allen at 12.
Okay.
Wait. So who's your 10th on the list? Let me see who you're saying is near number 10.
My number 10?
Yeah.
So
I know who's before.
Here's my top 10 wide receivers.
Okay.
Allen Robinson,
Okay.
Jefferson, Keenan Allen, A.J. Brown, D.K. Metcalf, Calvin Ridley, Hopkins, Hill, Diggs, Adams.
Say 10, 9, 8, 10, 8, 9 again. 10, 9, and 8, sorry.
Yeah,
I had a stroke.
Allen Robinson, Justin Jefferson, and Keenan Allen. I got A.J. Brown at 7.
Yeah, I would say for me, Keenan Allen I'd probably switch him with Robinson. Maybe put him right there. It's hard for me to tell. Honestly, I don't have the list in front of me. Keenan Allen, Allen Robinson are similar to me. I know Herbert's there, but 10, 11, 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there.
Okay.
If I had to put him there, I'd put him right where you have him. That makes sense. But you also have Mike Evans right outside there. Terry McLaurin, I could see an opportunity where he has more yards than Allen does. Allen is very good, but Allen also has been inconsistent with injuries at times. So that's another thing you have to look into.
Yep.
This is the hardest part for me is why I had such a hard time and I didn't do wide receivers. One, I didn't know to do that, guys. But the other reason is it's so hard to rank wide receivers in fantasy football because there's so many of them. Like, this is a wide receiver deep draft, and it's not even funny. Like, the wide receivers you're getting in the 15th, 16th round is literally like the Gallups of the world. Is literally, I got Curtis Samuel in the 10th. Like, these wide receivers are so deep. It's not even funny. So that's one of the reasons why I mentioned the running back method, why I would suggest anybody who has a chance to take anybody, Mixon, Jonathan Taylor, Eckler, maybe not Taylor, but any of those guys, just do it. Unless Kelsey's on the board. There's plenty of wide receivers later. I would make the case to you that I would probably take Kelsey or any of these running backs over any of the wide receivers there because there's so many other great ones later.
Okay.
That's
a good argument.
Yeah.
But it was funny because I did tight ends too.
Mm-hmm.
And so my tight end when we did the special with Nate and Logan, I did tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
And it's surprising how different my tight end top 10 is now than it was then. I've got Fant, Goddard, Thomas, Tanyan, Hawkinson, Andrews, Pitts, Waller, Kittle, Kelsey. Okay, that's my new one. This is the one I had when we did it a few weeks ago. I'll do 1 to 10. Kelsey, Waller, Kittle, Hawkinson, Andrews, Thomas, Fant, Henry, Pitts, Goddard. So I moved Fant way down. I took Henry out. Pitts way up. And Goddard is still in there, but Fant I moved down because you don't have a quarterback. Even if Teddy Bridgewater's the quarterback, I mean, I think you hope that they have decent quarterback play because they got some studs on offense.
Yeah, they do.
But I just don't see anybody being able to get him the ball the way they're supposed to. And I think he's up there with them. But I didn't have Tanyan in my top 10 before, but now that Rodgers is back, I have him at number 7.
Tanyan would move back up.
I think that connection grew at the end of last year, and I think it's only going to get better.
Yep. I think the more players on Green Bay's offense just became more relevant because of him coming back. And with Carson Wentz being out, it makes even more players on the Colts roster irrelevant without their starting quarterback as well.
Yeah.
So it's crazy how one quarterback move can change things.
Yes, and I do know, I want to state this out loud because I hope they go with Eason.
Yeah.
They drafted him a few years ago, 2 years ago. They might have drafted him last year. I'm high on him. I really liked him in college too. I think he's underrated as far as when he was coming out of college. And I like him. If they can give him a chance, I want to see what he can do because I think he can be decent. But I see a stupid scenario where they trade for a veteran. And the worst case scenario is you trade for Nick Foles, who's already proven he can't be a starting quarterback in the league.
But think about it. In a weird world, Nick Foles comes in and leads them to the Super Bowl. with Carson Wentz on the bench again.
If I was Carson, I'd move to another state, another country.
I'd move out of the country.
I'd move somewhere and just hang my head in misery.
So I want to ask you this, because it was something that I thought of all last few days since we found out it's going to be probably closer to 12 weeks he's going to be out. What does this do for his legacy? What does this do for his next contract? Like, if Eason comes in and does well, is there a competition next year between him and Eason? Does that make sense? Like,
are they a playoff team?
I would man. Let's say they make the playoffs, but they lose in the first round, even with Eason or Nick Foles or anybody they bring in, because the roster's that good on defense and their offensive line and all that. Because you would think Wentz is an upgrade over Rivers, right? I mean, you would think. But without him, they're going to bring in any random person who might play like the dude they had 2 years ago. I can't think of his name right now.
The kid for that was
he used to play for the Patriots, right?
Third string for the Patriots.
Can't think of his name right now.
Me neither.
He played behind Jimmy Garoppolo, came in like season one, like 2 games as well or something.
Yep. And then,
I think it's tough because the part I say this about Carson Wentz, he had his great rookie year, got hurt with his back. The following year, he got hurt again with a leg, and now he's hurt again in year 5. He's had multiple injuries now.
What's his contract like though?
I don't remember
that's the thing. But is there competition if they make the playoffs? Yeah, he's got to fight.
Yeah,
because that means that kid balled out in a tough AFC.
Yeah,
I mean, think about it. We're not talking the NFC here.
Yeah,
no offense to the NFC. We're talking about the AFC. If you make the playoffs as a top 7 seed in the AFC, you're balled out. You've won 10 or 11 games.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it as, yes, you're battling for your job.
Yes.
Like, you need to battle for a starting position. And his trade value is 0.
So I will tell you this. So if Wentz plays poorly again, is what this is saying, what I'm reading here, the Colts can limit the compensation, but he will be on the salary cap for $15 million in 2022, $22 million if he's still on the roster. The Colts can opt out of the $53 million and 2 years remaining after this season. So they can opt out of his final 2 years if they want and make him a free agent.
Which, if they make the playoffs, that's what they do.
Yeah, if they make the playoffs, they don't bring him back, right?
Yeah.
So this is what it breaks down by Albert Breer. I don't know who he is.
So all right.
He has the breakdown actual.
Let's shift it the other way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? They're one of the worst teams in the league and get a top 3 pick.
You're not bringing him back.
But are you drafting a rookie?
Yes.
Okay.
I would assume Sam Howell's going to be there.
Not bringing him back?
Yeah, Sam Howell's going to be there. Rattler's going to be there. I assume they would take a quarterback if you had that pick. No, so this is Colts contract. This was him of 2021 last year after the deal, though. So it's $25.4 million in 2021, fully guaranteed. $22 million in 2022, $25 million in 23, and $26 million in 24. So it's 4 years. So, but if it doesn't work out at year 2, they can cut him and owe him the money. So there is an opt-out in this. So potentially if he doesn't play and he comes back, I mean, you got to remember, the last year he played that he was healthy, he was even interceptions for even touchdowns pretty much. He wasn't at the top of his game. So there is that potential chance that if he doesn't play, do they move in a different direction? Sorry, I see your face. Did we get some sports news coming across?
Yeah, well,
the Phillip Rivers thing?
Yeah, I don't think that's real.
I'm not sure either.
So, but no, that can't be real. Phillip Rivers has a noodle arm. But it's I feel bad for the Colts because this window that they have in the NFL closes quickly.
It does.
And your team, you've drafted so well and you've built this team so well that all you needed was a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And you never got the quarterback in because you had the quarterback. Think about that. Like, they had the quarterback. They had their franchise quarterback. They had
and they did nothing to
probably
protect him.
Second or third best quarterback in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And he retired, and they never did anything to replace him.
Now
they've just been placing Band-Aids on it year after year, and they're wasting this talent.
So I had a question brought to me by a client. He said, with the Colts, we actually talked about this today. I said, what would you do if you were the Colts? Honestly, what would you do? He said, well, I'm going to ask you first, Christian, what would you do? I said, honestly, I would look for a veteran. Not just a veteran. I would look for someone who's abused on a bench. Mitchell Trubisky. I know that's not a good name people like to hear. I would look for Nick Foles. But he brought a really good point to me. What about a trade for What's the dude from Jacksonville with the mustache? Minshew.
Minshew.
Gardner Minshew. And I was like, nah, that ain't going to work. Like, I was one of big critics on him. And I look up his numbers. If it wasn't for Trevor Lawrence, he's really not that bad of a quarterback. And he's young. He brings a lot of ticket sales to the area. He's a hyped quarterback. He reminds me of like a Baker in a way. Like, he gets people fired up in a certain way. He's marketable. And he's not a bad quarterback with that offensive line and the running back. If I'm the Colts, my client suggested to go after Gardner Minshew, and I don't hate that idea. 3rd or 4th round pick to get him, 4th round pick. I'm just using an example. I don't know what it would take to Jacksonville to get him.
I'd rather see what I have.
If I was owning the team, I guess I would probably agree, but I think I would want to bring in another player's competition. Possibly. We don't have the Colts. We don't know Eason's skill set. But if you're going in this from a, let's say we're going in this from a dumb novice fan, you have Carson Wentz and Eason. I know you said you like him, but you're starting as you're going to start with Eason on a playoff team. That might not be a bad thing, but a lot of fans would go, he's kind of unproven. But maybe you give him that shot.
Minshew was on the worst team in the league last year.
Yeah.
His stats may have been good, but he doesn't win. You
Not
know,
a winner. It was just a very interesting scenario. I never thought of Gardner Minshew as a free agent quarterback.
Again, you're putting a Band-Aid on a situation and you're losing a draft pick.
Yeah.
And that's why I wouldn't trade for, because you'll hear the name Deshaun Watson.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to give up the farm and get Deshaun Watson? No, because I don't know what his legal status is.
I will say
I'm not going after Nick Foles because Nick Foles proven that he can't be a starting quarterback for 16 games, let alone now 17 games. And I don't know who else is out there. Like maybe if you decide you're going with Trey Lance,
you try to make a trade for Jimmy
Garoppolo, hey Garoppolo. Do you trade for Garoppolo?
Yeah.
Do they trade him? Or do they? If he loses the battle, does he stay there for a year to see what happens?
Yeah.
I don't see very many scenarios where there's quarterbacks out there. Mitchell Trubisky is out there, but what are you willing to give up? You're not going to see anything. The tape's out there on him.
Yeah.
What are you willing to give up to bring him in and start?
When you might get the same results out of Eason.
If this was a while ago, I would say, do you bring in a Dalton? Do you get in a bidding war with the Bears for Dalton?
Now, we'll say for teams that are interested in Watson, I could be wrong on this, but as far as I know, all of his allegations are still in civil court.
No, 10 went to the police and wanted to open a criminal case.
Okay, so what I was reading was I don't know if any of them are criminal cases yet. If they've been seen by a court as anything more than civil. If they're civil cases, you can pay a lot of money to get out of those. If that is the case and you're a team, you maybe make the call just for the question, and you use your lawyers to field the call.
One thing the NFL has always done is they don't care if you get out of trouble, you're still going to pay the NFL law.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say.
And
the NFL
he's going to be suspended.
Yeah.
The NFL is just waiting to see how long they are going to suspend him.
Exactly. If it's a civil court, he pays his fines to all the ladies. Whatever it is, that's different. If it's criminal court, he'll be not only probably prosecuted, but he'll also be out of the league for a while from the NFL platform. So if I'm any team, Deshaun Watson's not a name you talk about.
Yeah, you're treading lightly.
Yeah,
you're
it's
not
a name
going for him.
What I would do is if you were a team that was interested in his services, you would probably use your lawyering team you have to do some digging just to give you feedback, saying, hey, now's not a good time. It looks like XYZBDQ. Because his court case, everything is open documents. You can see all of it. Right. So, I just think if you're the Colts...
Here's the scenario. There's very few teams that need a quarterback in this league.
And they're right on the edge of the playoffs.
And, that just need there's so many young quarterbacks in the league right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many quarterbacks that are starting for their teams that are 3, 4, 5 years in and less. And I don't see a scenario where you're getting anybody of value right now to come and help you.
No.
Because I don't think Mitchell Trubisky is going to come in right away and help you. I think he's decent. I think he's gotten a bad rap. Do I think this team could rely on him to bring him to the playoffs? Not as much as I would say you're flipping a coin with Eason.
Yeah.
And so I say keep your draft pick, see what you got, and if you don't, you still have Wentz next year or at the end of this year. and you're not wasting a draft pick.
You might be able, with how good the team is, to use an Eason and just chug along for a few weeks until Carson's back, and Carson might be able to go 6-4 in his last few games.
But they're saying 5 to 12 weeks.
Yeah.
So what is it till the season? 4 weeks?
Yes.
It's a month until the season. It's just over a month. So you're looking at 1 week. Technically, he could miss. If the surgery's a success and it's not as bad as they think, he could be back week 3, 4. Or worst case scenario, he's back at the halfway point.
Yeah.
I'm not wasting a draft pick on a veteran.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that because you just put all your eggs in the Carson Wentz basket.
Pretty much.
You really can't take your eggs out of it now and say,
and you get to keep your first round pick too.
And that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money you're invested in this man. So I see the Colts staying pat.
Yeah,
and like
I do
you
too.
said, treading water and or catching lightning in a bottle with Eason and seeing what you got.
Yeah, because if you can do, let's say he's out 6 weeks of the season, right? He goes 3-3. Let's say he comes back week 7, you're 3-3, something like that. Carson can still come in and hopefully give you that edge to get you maybe as a wild
and
card.
Your division is top heavy.
Yes.
Like Tennessee
Them and the Titans.
and that's it.
I don't see Houston making a run, and I don't see Jacksonville doing it this year either.
No, and so if you're 3-3, you're in the hunt.
Yeah.
You're still in the hunt.
Yeah.
And even if Tennessee's 5-1, you're 2 games out.
Yeah.
And I don't know how the schedule works out, but you could be 2 games out with 2 games to play.
Yeah.
And that all depends too. But if I'm Indianapolis, I stay in pat. Yeah. I stay with what I've got, and I keep my draft picks. I keep everybody as is, and I see what I can do. And if he doesn't come back and play this year, he doesn't come back and play this year.
Yeah, I think if I was the Colts, I'd probably do the same thing. I think the issue you have is there's no one out there. You're not bringing in any Romos right out of the street. You're not bringing in any Phillip Riverses. You're not going to do that.
But if you believe in Wentz, and your team sucks this year because he doesn't play, and you get a top 10 pick, that team's already stacked.
And they keep their pick because it's not going to the Eagles if he doesn't play.
So that's another area you can think about. This team is already stacked, and now you're going to bring in a top 10 college talent.
And if you're the Colts and he does want to stay out 12 weeks, just precautionary.
And you're already losing?
Yeah, I would just let him stay out to the 12 weeks. That way you don't have to give up your first pick, then start him a minute later.
Right.
Something like that, because I would be doing anything I can saying, okay, Wentz's injury is 5 to 12 weeks from now. He may come back week 6 or 7. What if we push him to week 9 and we don't, whatever the 70% is, start him then, and that way we get to keep our pick and it doesn't go to Philly, because nobody wants to see Philly with 3 first-round picks.
Yeah, well,
they'll mess it up.
That's you guys. But it's for me. I stand pat. I do. I've already given up too much to get him. I'm not giving up more to give up for a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
So that's just my opinion. But next week is another week closer to the NFL season.
Yep.
Another week closer to fantasy football drafts. Another week closer to just a happier time in life.
Even though Mark isn't a huge preseason fan, I get excited about a couple of the games, because even if I don't want to watch my team or anybody else's team, it's any form of football. Even though it's bench players, as a huge college fan, I know most of these players, the younger bench guys, because I just watched them last year. Mm-hmm. But I get excited because even though it's not regular season, seeing teams come out of the tunnel and there's going to be fans there. It's just going to be something, even if you don't like the Steelers or Dallas, to watch, because it's a Hall of Fame game. There's going to be fans. And it's going to be any form of football. It could be anything. It could be junior high, but it's football. Right. And this is an exciting time of the year.
Yeah. So, do you have a hot clock?
I do not.
No, you never do. You never do.
I kind of had
There's nothing in this world that pisses you off.
I kind of did have one, but we kind of talked about it earlier.
All right. So, I've worked retail my whole life. Mm-hmm. Since I was 14 years old, I've worked retail. And I guess you could say I'm a grumpy old man.
Yes.
That's things that are said about me that are pretty accurate.
Yeah.
One thing irks me to no end, where I just want to shake people or slap them silly. If somebody says, "Hey, how you doing?" say good and move on with your day. Don't say, "Oh, I'm here." No shit, Karen, I just said hi to you.
Living the dream.
Just like, "Oh, living the dream. Oh, I wish I was somewhere else." Then fucking leave. Just say good and move on. I don't care about your life. I just want to say, "Hi, how you doing?" I'm being polite. I don't care. Just say good and move on. Like, I'm not even smiling when I say it, so I don't care. Look, read the facial expressions. But to say, yeah, I'm here, really? Really? Yeah, I'm looking right at you and I'm saying, hi, how you doing?
It's the Italian in you, man.
I am just so pissed. Like, it irks me to no end when people are just like, I've been better. Everybody fucking has. It's a fucking pandemic. But, I mean, shit. Like,
that's pretty common.
Oh, my God. Like, it's so aggravating. And I literally said, hi, how you doing to 6 people I work with the other day. And not a single one of them said good. I was just like, what the hell? I'm just trying to walk on with my day.
Just don't
I'm
talk
being
to them
polite.
anymore. Then you're antisocial.
Right. And
See,
I'm just...
I will go with Mark here and say that he said I don't really have any hot clocks because this is a sports talk show. I don't have any things that sports are making me mad.
Oh, no, this is just life.
So now that we know that Mark has gone to this level, that it's something personal, I will have a hot clock next week about things that piss me off, not sports related. Don't worry, guys. It won't be anything big related, I promise. But see, I try to keep mine sports. I'm like, nothing in sports is pissing me off today. I don't have anything hot to talk about. But now that Mark's talking about how people he doesn't like people, I'm all about this. We're going to go off topic
and
next
it's not
week.
that I don't like people. It's just say,
You don't like
it's
people.
just say good. How are you?
Yeah.
And I'll say good and I'll keep going.
Yeah.
You know, but otherwise I have to put the fake smile. That's funny one. It's just aggravating as hell.
Walmart, though, man.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go. Yeah. I dare you.
No, I know.
To go anywhere tomorrow.
You know how many clients I have to take every day?
Yes.
I walk to them and say, how are you doing? Let's say it's Miss Johnson. I made up that name. Miss Johnson, how you doing today? Oh, I could be better. My back hurts. Yep. My back hurts, too. And no one massages my back, sweetheart.
You know, but I'm just I could be better. My sciatica. Yeah, I can read the chart, idiot.
Yeah, I'm like holding their notes. They're like, yeah, I'm having a lot of pain. I can see that. It's right here. I have clients that listen to this show.
Just say you're good and move on.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, I'm serious. Like, just say, good, how are you? Good.
Yeah.
And just keep on with your day. Just keep moving.
Yeah.
You know, if we're really good friends...
You could tell me,
you know what? I don't even want to know then. I'm sorry. Just say good and move on.
Have you ever had one of these situations where you ask somebody how their day's going, and they're like, well, you know, I just...
And you immediately regret it. You eye roll, and that's why wearing the masks were so great. Because you literally could just have that facial expression of, oh my God. Just like...
So I had this exact example happen yesterday at work. Take a client back and said, how you doing today, Miss So-and-so? She's like, it's been a good day, you know, but my stomach was upset this morning when I woke up. And then, you know, I just, you know, my car wouldn't start. And I was like, oh, God, here we go. 5 minutes later, she's like, and now I'm here and just the lights are really bad. And I was like, so I assume your day's been shitty? Like, they don't... I hate when you get that one client or one person in Walmart or any store, you know you should never have asked, how's your day going? Because they're not just going to go, oh, terrible. Oh, I'm breathing, so good day. Oh, you know, that's the white response. Like, that's what everybody says.
This literally happened to me the other day. And I said, hey, how you doing today? Lost my daughter yesterday.
Jesus.
I'm like, did you find her? No, she passed. Like, what are you doing here? I can't be home with the wife right now. And I'm like... like, it floored me. Like, I didn't even know what to say, but I'm just like, what? Like, okay, like, I don't expect you to say good, but I don't expect you to say that.
You know how many times, if that happened, it happens not so often, but someone says, like, how you doing? And they're like, oh, terrible, I lost a family. We're like, oh, okay, good. Like, you just, like,
oh, that's good. Hey, good to hear. Wait a second, what did I just hear?
Because you say it so much, you're like, oh, that's good. Self-checkout's over there.
Right.
Oh, geez.
Great. Have a good day.
Yep. Self-checkout.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's my pet peeve.
Yeah.
It bothers me to no end. So that's it. You know.
Earlier we were talking about the Colts. My hot clock wasn't going to be a hot clock, but it was going to be a short little sentence of how funny would it be if Nick Foles came in and went into Indianapolis, won the starting job over Carson Wentz, and that Monday headline was, Wentz once again replaced by Nick Foles.
My thing is how is he still on the Bears? When every question he was asked is, hey, what do you think about a trade to Indianapolis? Sure, I'll take it. Dude, you suck.
Yeah.
There's a reason why you're a backup quarterback in the league, and yes, you won a Super Bowl.
He's not a backup quarterback.
Yeah,
he's third-string quarterback.
Third string, yes. Yeah. Like, just give it up.
Yeah.
So, but
they want to keep playing because they get paid. Why would you ever give it up? I'd be a bench player to my 40s.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a few years ago we had Tony Romo hurt, and who did we call? McGee, is that his name? He was teaching middle school like 2 weeks before the game. We called him saying Romo's injured again, and he put they Zoom called or face called during the game. His high school class waving. He's on the field suiting up, 40 pounds overweight. We won the game, I think. I can't remember. It was years ago, but I was like, that's all they need to do. What's Phillip Rivers doing these days?
Noodle arm playing with his 15 kids.
He's making a 16th kid.
Yeah, But I don't know. We went off on a tangent there. I apologize. It's just stuff that makes me mad. And if you know me, like a lot of the people that listen to this show
the wind makes Mark mad.
You'll realize that a lot of things make me mad. So.
I kind of get worried the older he gets, the more talent he gets, how much more angry he's going to get. You're going to get really senile. You're going to be the one where, like, you're going to be in a nursing home. Ladies, I'm like, can I help you? Like, I'll kill your family.
I want to go that far. And which one of the kids is paying for the nursing home? I want to know that.
Yeah, it's true. We're just going to leave you on the street.
Pretty much.
Be like, oh, what's your father-in-law here for? Oh, years of imports and exports, let me tell you. It was rough. All right, we're going on a tangent, guys.
Yes.
When you guys hear this, we'll have the first preseason game. The league, the Web Booty League now has its order. You guys will hear this. Do you want to put that in tonight, or do you want to wait till this goes live to put it in there so people can hear it first?
We'll put it in.
Okay.
So you go put it in, because I tried to do something on there the other day, and I couldn't do it. So.
Okay. All right.
You go and you do it. I'll give you the list, and I'll give you the divisions, and you go and do it.
Mark needs a little bit of help. He's struggling over there.
Yeah, if it was on pen and paper, I could write it down, but other than that, it sucks. I hate computers.
Well,
there's the list.
Other than that, guys.
Congratulations, Nate. You got the number one pick in Wet Booty.
And you guys have a fantastic weekend.
See you later.